hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of Thoughts on Education by College Dunia. Today we have Professor Muhammad, Dr. Muhammad Kaisar from MIT Mysore, who is HOD of Mechanical Department over there. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir, to the interview.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Kaisar has been HOD in Mechanical Department for more than 13 years in MIT Mysore. So he has done his MTech and PhD from VTU Belgaum. He has 17 years of experience in teaching, and he is a governing council member for Quality Circles Forum of India, and also Board of Examination member for VTU and other autonomous colleges. And he has several publications in national and international journals. So welcome to our show, sir.
Thank you so much.
So, sir, coming to the question, so being the HOD of Mechanical Department, so what are your roles and responsibilities towards the student?
See, the moment it comes to be the head of the department for mechanical engineering in particular, here this branch is all about practicing because it is a hardcore engineering branch, and the on-hands training becomes very, very essential. Only then a student is going to become capable. So my role as the head of the department over here, what I have been doing for the past 13 years at Maharaja Institute of Technology, Mysore, has been first to make my faculty capable, who can take up the challenges that are existing in the industry. And then the faculty must be able to educate our students to a level wherein the industry institute gap, which has been existing for quite a long time now, that gets filled. My role as a head of the department is to facilitate a wonderful quality education to the students, a wonderful teaching learning ambience to be provided at the department, so that the students who seek admissions in our college, especially in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, they become capable engineers, they become competitive engineers. If I'm able to put up such an ambience in my department, that is certainly is going to be my role, or what I can say, if I achieve something in that context, certainly it is going to be of great help to the student as well as to the department, in turn to the human society. So this is what is the intention, and this is what has been the role that I have been playing at the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Maharaja Institute of Technology. This is how I have been doing here. And we have been very successful in doing this because the transformation index of the student at their entry level to our department, and when they go out as mechanical engineers from our department, certainly the transformation index is very, very high. In fact, if I recall, right from the first year of my admittance into this system as the teaching faculty or the head of the department, what I know is the students entered here, many of them who had never ever seen even the first class in their careers. But look at the efforts that have gone behind, look at the roles that the people, especially those who are sitting in the chairs of head of the departments in our college, how well we have done is, by the time the same students went out as graduate engineers from our college, most of them carried a degree, engineering graduate degree with first class in distinction results. And I'm very happy to say that the students of mechanical engineering especially, they are spread to the entire globe. Some of my students are in Denmark, some of my students are in Japan, some of the students are in Russia. In fact, some of the students are in US. They have gone to seek higher education as well. They have established their own personalities in their careers and in those countries as well. So probably whatever roles I have played here in the development of the student community in particular, I feel it is justifiable.
Great, great. So, how do you tend to establish a healthy relationship between faculty and the student?
It is not just restricted to the department. In fact, the relationship between the student and the fellow faculty members spreads to the entire system. And now, unlike the yesteryears where the education system was more or less kind of commanding education system used to exist when even I was a student. But now the systems have changed. The generation mindset itself has changed now. The scope for the education sector lies where a very healthy relationship should exist between the teaching faculty and the student. So considering that and adapting to the present day requirements for this generation, what we have done is we have got very strong mentorship activity in our department.
Great.
Wherein every student who take admission into our college, especially to our department, he or she will be attached to a mentor, a faculty member who will become a mentor. And the mentor more or less becomes a parent to the student for everything that happens with the student at the college premises.
Great.
The faculty members are going to monitor the student for their attendance, monitor the students for their behavior, monitor the students for their conduct, and they'll be able to communicate the same with the student as well as the family, wherein a cordial relationship would exist between a faculty, a student, as well as his or her family. That is where what happens is the student joins as a stranger to the department in the beginning, but soon, maybe after 3 months or 4 months, when the students come to know that it is we people who are taking care of their career and the development in their life to establish themselves as good citizens of this country, then certainly they realize very soon that yes, mentor is a wonderful person here at the department. And not just that, we don't restrict our help and support to the student only for their academics, because a student is a human, and several other factors will also be there, wherein his how his relationships are there with the students, fellow students in his class, or who are all his friends. How is he spending his time? How is he planning for his education? How is he doing at his house? And what all does he do, which is indirectly or directly influencing his performance and learning at the college level? That is where the mentors will try to get to know the insight of a student life, wherein they'll be able to understand the student and they will try to plan their own mentorship, and they'll try to motivate the students as well as dig out the problems which are in fact affecting his performance in the education and try to uplift his performance there. And that is one of the reasons why the students, in spite of leaving the campus and spending for about 6 years, 8 years or 10 years away from the campus, still they come back to the mentors whenever they are having some issues, because the mentor is the one who has understood them well when they were the students. So as they say, whenever you have the problems, get back to the basics. So that is how whenever there are problems, like we people go back to our parents, the students tend to come back to the mentors and get their issues resolved. That is where the very healthy relationship do exist between the student as well as the fellow faculty members.
Yes, sir. And sir, so how do you try to bring in practical approach towards the subject and make it industrial oriented, sir?
Certainly. In fact, by far we are doing really, really good in this segment. The reason being that you just now have introduced me, I'm the Governing Council member for Quality Circles Forum of India. See, Quality Circles Forum of India is a very wonderful body. It is an international body. It is at the international level, global level, at the national level, at the state level, at the district level, as such. And the directors, the body that is called Quality Circles Forum of India is a forum where the members are the CEOs of the companies, the managing directors are the members, The chairmen are the members, general managers of big industry are the members. So as such, the entire forum is composed of the industrialist and the people who are there in the industry. So because of which the actual gap that is existing between the industry and academia is very well known to me. So because of which, what I will try to do is, I try to bring in the issues. We'll try to get to know the problems, what the student when they enter into the industry will be facing, what the industry will be facing with the students who are unaware of the industrial practices. And we'll try to get in to our system over here. We'll try to force those requirements into the students and build their personality. So what I tell is, the curriculum is defined by the university. The syllabus for some subject is defined by the university, which is commonly studied and known by all the students throughout the university affiliated colleges. But now what we give in addition to what is there in the curriculum defined by the Visvesvaraya Technological University, that is where we hold the edge over many other institutions who may or may not be doing it. Because we take it as a serious venture, because the God has given us this opportunity to build the career of the students who tomorrow are going to be the nationals for our country as well, good humans to this society. Obviously, we'll try to build in good engineers and come out with the engineers who will compete in the global scenario and who can do something better for the country and for the society.
Yes, sir. And so how do you strategize the curriculum, and how often it get updated to make it benefiting for the students?
Here, the colleges which are affiliated to the university, we are given by the curriculum by the university.
Okay.
We need to stick on to the curriculum which is given by the university. In addition to that, what we tend to do is, we tend to hold meetings with our faculty members, especially the senior faculty members, and we'll try to assess the curriculum defined by the university against what is the present day requirement in the same subject.
Okay.
Thereby, what we analyze and what we come out with is, we will draw very important inferences. What in addition to this has to be fed to the student, which may not be a part of the syllabus, but which will strengthen the subject knowledge into a student.
Okay.
So from that perspective, we try to see the curriculum and we try to enforce those things into the student. And many of the times, let me tell you, students may not be little happy, or student may be little unhappy with us, because we believe that student is a learner.
Yeah.
And just like a father, a mother, or rather the parents or the guardians, they will be knowing what is better for their son or daughter, rather than the student himself, the son or the daughter themselves. Like that, even here, a better teaching faculty or a better college or a better department will think what is better for its students. Whether a student knows it is better for him or not, that's a different issue.
Yes.
Because student may or may not realize today that whether the activity which has been enforced onto him is needed for him or not. But still, we know that it is better for him. This is how he is going to become a competitive engineer in the present world. So considering that, we'll try to push in whatever inputs are to be there as a part of good engineers, so that whenever in the recruitment process in future, our student from Department of Mechanical Engineering, Maharaja Institute of Technology, Mysore, should hold an advantage, should be distinct from his other competitors. That is how we are trying to strategize our career.
Great. And sir, what are your views upon the placement and higher education about the student from your department? Or how does your department prepare students for higher education?
Many of the students, especially students and the parents, in fact, through this channel, I want to convey this reality and the message, not just to the students, even to the parents also.
Yes.
See, the moment we come across anybody inquiring about the admission at the college, be it our college or any other college, What we get to hear is the very first question. People are not asking nowadays about how is the college? Do you have all the facility to make my boy or daughter a good engineer? People are not inquiring about how are the teachers, are they qualified? Yes. Are they updating themselves? These questions are not being asked, exactly. Which is in fact a sad part. So what we experience here is people start with the question, do you have campus placement?
Yeah, exactly. The training part.
But yes, this is so ironical. This is so very opposite to what we people perceive over here.
Exactly.
What I believe as a head of the department, what we believe as the entire department here is, we are committed to make the student good mechanical engineers.
Yes.
We are committed to make a student an educated mechanical engineer here.
Yeah.
Not just by mere qualification. Okay. See, if a student is only a qualified engineer, if the student is only a qualified engineer, then what may happen is, see, even many of the students would have done, even we may have done in our student life, that we may have guessed, okay, these chapters, if we study, that is good enough to fetch us good marks.
Yes.
So that could be there. And on guessing and gambling, we might have done well even in the examination, and that would have fetched us a good mark sheet also. But does it make me a good engineer?
Exactly.
That is a question to be asked. See, with a good marks card, I can take an entry to the interviewing panel.
Yeah.
Or I can get into a job also. But the moment I'm tested for my productivity,
exactly.
The moment I'm tested for my engineering skills that I have acquired during my education, if that comes, if I'm not an educated engineer, if I'm only a qualified engineer, then soon the company or the recruiter will throw me out of the system.
Exactly.
So I would definitely tend to change the mindset of the people wherever I get a chance to publicly address the issues on the career. I definitely request the parents as well as the students, please don't ask whether campus placement is there or not. Because we will make you at MIT Mysore Mechanical Engineering Department, we will make you educated engineer. We will enhance your capability to a level wherein you will be in a commendable position, and you should be sold like a hot cake in the market. And you should be able to demand the job, not request for the job. That is what is the status you must be trying to achieve. So don't weaken yourself. Don't weaken yourself. Try to get into a system which can educate you to make you a good engineer. That is what is my thought on this.
Yes, sir. So that's quite a great thought, and definitely like the people right now, they should think about that, sir. That's a quite great thought. And so how do you help?
And one more thing on one more thing I wanted to stress on this. See, placement and higher education. That was the issue. What we were just discussing. See, mechanical engineering, civil engineering, and electrical engineering.
Yes.
These are the very primitive branches of engineering. Even when the word engineering was not coined, these branches did exist in this world.
Exactly, sir. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So considering this, these are highly established and disciplined branches. So the industry will not come to your doorstep because they are all established systems. So on campus placement, if you just inquire, even from civil or mechanical or electrical branches, students who would have got selected at the campus, only few will have got selected for the hardcore industry, whereas the rest would have got selected to the software or IT industry.
Yes.
The reason being that mechanical, civil and electrical industry, they have got a system in place in their own campus. They have got their own organization in which they will test their students in their own campuses. So considering this, on-campus placement for mechanical, civil and electrical engineering students will always be low. But that does not decide the scope of the engineering branch. Because there is a saying for everything, especially those who are the mechanical engineering lovers. Let me tell you one thing. See, mechanical engineering is also called a royal branch of engineering because its scope never comes down.
Exactly.
There may be a slight variation, only about 5% above and below the set level. Only that is the variation what we have seen in our entire life. Otherwise, you establish any kind of industry, you go to any kind of industry, you take up a software industry, you take up electronic industry, everywhere the need for civil engineering and mechanical engineering graduates will never ever die.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's true.
At least, if not in hundreds, at least a number up to the finger counts is definitely required for mechanical. That is number one. And second thing, this is very special for mechanical engineering, Sagardeep, and even to those who will be viewing my interview later. See, mechanical engineering branch is a very versatile branch. A mechanical engineer he can be employed in a civil engineering industry. A mechanical engineer is also a programmer. A mechanical engineer is also an electronics engineer. A mechanical engineer can work and fit anywhere. That is one of the very special features for mechanical engineering. It is so big, its versatility is so high that mechanical engineer fits in every single industry, whereas no other branch person fits into mechanical industry.
Yes,
not just that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That is very, very true.
A
software engineer cannot work for computer science industry. A software engineer will not fit into mechanical, whereas the mechanical engineering graduate will fit into any sector.
Yes, sir.
That is one.
That's
and
true.
My personal experience is in most of the industry, even in software industry also, because of the robust nature of the branch itself, I have seen most of the vice presidents are those who are managing a group of people. Certainly they'll be from mechanical engineering background, irrespective of whether it's a mechanical industry or any other industry.
Yes.
That's very special for this particular branch.
Yes.
And apart from this, the scope for higher education is very high. As I told in the beginning itself, within a span of about 13 years of its establishment, our students from mechanical engineering, many of the students are either entrepreneurs, they themselves are the entrepreneurs, or they are placed in very good industry as well. Many of the students, they are all in either US or Russia. After completing their MS, they are employed there. There also they have formed MIT Mysore Mechanical Engineering Circles, wherein they'll be feeding us the information and the updates about their careers.
Great.
That is how we have been doing that.
Great, sir. And so, sir, how do you help your student to cope up with the competition being so high in the outside world?
First of all, we don't just teach the students about the academics. We are here, the system here that is established in MIT Mysore Mechanical Engineering branch is a blend of both personal and professional education.
Yes.
We don't focus only on teaching the student with whatever is there in the subject. We try to evolve a very good person in the student. His personality enhancement programs are also there. So we take him up for the training, we take them up for personality development issues. We try to focus on their communication, we try to focus on their skills, and we try to bring them up to a good leader. Organization skills are also taught to them by engaging them into many different activities. And plus many, because this time span may not be sufficient to highlight those many activities what we do here. But anyway, for making our student to be competitive in particularly this era, it is definitely a daunting task. It's a challenge for any educational organization. But still, with the team given to me, a wonderful team given to me, I'm able to lead the team so that we will be able to make our students to get education of both professional, personal, and social importance at our department.
Great, sir.
So thereby, we are making our student to be competent.
Great. Do you have, sir, do you have any extracurriculum activities or program to enhance the skill of the student or expose them to the real world challenge?
100%. See, this is an engineering college.
Yes.
And unlike any other non-professional course, here a student can become an engineer only by practice, not by simply learning some theories. Only if we are able to expose the students to the practical industry, only if we are able to bring in the practical expertise to the college and make the student to learn what is going on in the industry, what are the recent technological developments that are happening. If we don't bring it to the student and demonstrate them here, then certainly the student is going to be on the weaker side.
Yes, sir.
Maybe on the marks card, marks card may show the student may have scored 80%, 90% or so, but still the composition into a student about the engineering education or engineering concept will be very, very poor, wherein he will not be able to compete in the larger forum wherein the people would have already learned all those practices which are there in the industry. To cope with such requirements, what we have done over here is we bring experts from the industry, big industry, multinational companies, considering the contacts that my people, my faculty member are having, considering my contacts through Quality Circles Forum of India, wherein I just not told all the members are to the cadres of CEOs, vice presidents, president, general managers, as such, because of which what we tend to do is we are able to successfully bring in those people who are directly the people who are revolutionary in upgrading the technology in India, or who are holding the key to the development of our country. We are able to bring directly those people to the campus and put them across the students. They address the students about the present day scenario, and they speak to the students about what is expected of them, what skills they are supposed to learn before entering into the industry, number one. Second thing, apart from this, probably we are, if somebody keeps the record of the industrial visits that our students would make, then in a span of about 13 years, I don't think any other organization would have recorded even 50% of what we would have done.
Great.
So more than 100 industrial visits we have made within a span of 13 years, more than 100.
Okay.
We have gone to big industry, and wherein our students got exposed to the actual industrial setup, wherein the students were able to interact with the people who are actually producing something, who are actually involved in developing, who are actually involved in planning or quality control also. Even to the ambience of the industry, people have got exposed. That is a wonderful thing. Apart from this, to enhance the skill into the student, in addition to what is there in the curriculum, we have got wonderful skill upgradation programs. We have been doing this from past 12 years. Past 12 years, we have been consistently doing it. We train the students either by deputing the students to the training centers or to the industry, or we bring the trainers, specialized trainers, certified trainers to our own campuses, and we train the students. Like soon after the student completes their third semester, we train the students on CATIA, which is a drawing and drafting software. Right. And then soon after the student completes fifth semester, during the vacation, we give the choice to the students to opt one or the other course from the list of courses which we tend to offer. Like our students are trained on Hypermesh, our students are trained on ANSYS, which is an analysis software. Our students are trained on CNC programming. Our students are trained on automotive excellence, and a center which is established by Aisha, wherein they will be given hands-on experience with the engines, their components, their working, the complete automotive assembly that will be demonstrated, and the students will be able to have hands-on experience and learning with them. And apart from that, we also depute our students to the training centers established by Bosch, like for learning the hydraulics and pneumatics, then robotics as such. So we have got a very huge bundle of courses which will definitely make our students knowledge composed as well as skilled students. Our efforts are something like, see, it is never ever going to be possible for any educational organization to bring out full-fledged engineers, except a college like PSG College of Engineering, Coimbatore. That is one of its kind in the entire country, wherein 6 hours of education and 6 hours of industry. But otherwise, in an academic institute just like us, which is there in the entire country, it is not possible to bring out a student who will be directly productive the next day of his college day.
Exactly.
That is not going to be possible. Yeah. So he or she needs to undergo training. He or she needs to understand the industrial practices, because there is a gap between the academia and the industry, which can never be filled. We can only try to minimize the gap, but the gap can never become zero. Exactly. So considering this, in an effort to fulfill this gap, in an effort to make closer to the full-fledged mechanical engineering graduates in the making, we try to upgrade the students' skill by giving them the training on many of the courses such as CATIA, ANSYS, Hypermesh, hydraulics and pneumatics, then industrial automation and robotics, CNC programming, as well the automotive excellence. We also depute the students to undergo internships. Now, internship has become a part of the curriculum. It is there as a part of the curriculum. There are credits and there are marks to be awarded. But whereas MIT Mysore Mechanical Engineering has practiced deputing students to its internship, at various industries from very, very long time. In fact, now the system as a requirement is evolving into the university, whereas we have been practicing these things from very long time.
Great.
So this is how we are trying to upgrade and bring out our students to deal with the present day system and present day requirements.
Great. And sir, so what are the challenges you faced to uplift the quality of education of your department?
One of the restriction is curriculum is not ours.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Curriculum is defined by the university. And in fact, they are also justifiable because the curriculum has to be designed for a student from the lowest IQ level to the highest IQ level.
Yes, sir.
Who are suiting this education system. As well, from a small village to the cosmopolitan city level.
Exactly.
Yes. So fitting the curriculum to suit all these level of people, it is very, very difficult. So it is the curriculum as per the university boundaries are there. The curriculum is quite good, but still, in addition to this curriculum, whatever we do here, I mean to say, like the skill upgradation programs that we carry out for our students, and the personality developments that we take up, those things, since they're not a part of the curriculum, since for these activities, students will not have any credit, or it is not going to influence their result, because of which little hesitancy will be there among these students, number one. And second thing is, the working days as provided by the university, they'll be sufficient for the curriculum defined by the university itself. So we are forced to schedule these co-curricular and extracurricular activities during the vacation. So that means to say, the department is going to eat away their vacations. And that is number one. But those things are also because they would have scheduled their vacations, they would have scheduled their journeys. Close relatives' marriages might have been there. But they are forced to come because we cannot make separate regulation for each individual there. That is and second thing is, students themselves, as I told in the beginning, like a parent knows what is good for their children, Even here also, the department knows what is better for its students.
Yes, sir.
We only intend to educate the students, even though they may or they may not appreciate us today. But our experience for the past 13 years say that those who went out of the campus, those who stood in competency with other students, those who have utilized whatever has been given to them in addition to the curriculum defined by the university, those people come back to us even today. If they visit our houses, they thank us. We treat them like our younger brothers or even our children at our homes.
Yes, sir.
That is how they may not realize the importance of what we are asking them to do it today, but very soon after they go out of the campus, they will definitely come to know whatever the parent at the college, mentor or the head of the department was enforcing us to do. It is the one which is helping them. Because marks card every student will get. If every student is equally capable with their percentages, then whom to select?
Exactly.
So only that person is more deserving, who is certainly a very distinct individual, who will be more educated, who will be more capable, who will be more skilled, and whose attitude is going to be good. That is what we try to do. And obviously, when you have to go beyond the specs, when you have to go beyond the boundaries of the system which has been designed by the university, then certainly the resistance that comes out from the student community, that will be a major challenge.
Yes,
that is
sure. That's great. So, and so, what are the valuable advice you would like to give to the student to have the prosperous career ahead?
I would only suggest our students one thing here. Be very selective whenever you are opting an educational institute. Although it is something like in the market, the clothes are there. You will get the cloth for 50 rupees as well. Nowadays, if you can see on the roadside, sellers, they sell shirts for the cost of just 100 rupees even. And there are shirts which will cost us 10,000 rupees also.
Yes, sir.
Why that is 10,000 rupees? Why this is 100 rupees? There is a huge difference. If you choose a mobile phone is a phone, obviously. Then why go for Apple or a very higher version of mobile phones? Why not a simple keypad? There is a difference.
Exactly.
So be very choosy while selecting the institute where you are supposed to get educated, because you should not look in the present day scenario. You should not look at only those institutions which will teach what is there in the curriculum defined by the university. There is a whole lot of parameters which you must be able to see. That is number one. Whether the faculty members present in the college, are they having good education, number one? Because if I'm educated, I will be able to cater good education to the student themselves. Then second thing is, are there ample facilities at the department? Or are we just chalta kind of a That is one thing. Where my department, that is Department of Mechanical Engineering, Maharadi Institute of Technology, Mysore, keeps a very good legacy, in fact.
Yes.
And then you also must look into the website whether the faculty of the institution which you are searching, are they upgrading themselves or not?
Exactly.
That is one thing. How you will come to know is by looking at their publications or by looking at their degrees, like doctorates. Apart from this, don't emphasize too much on the employment opportunities provided on campus. As I told you, please try to become educated engineers rather than qualified engineers.
Yes.
If you are an educated engineer, you will automatically get qualified. Whereas if you are just a qualified engineer, you will not be able to walk beyond about 4 to 5 steps in your career and you will fall down.
Yes, sir.
That is one. And second thing is, Many of the times we feel these days, especially to the students, this is what is being addressed. See, many of the times we feel that students are not coming here to fulfill their own aspirations of becoming a good engineer. Students are coming here as if they are forced by their parents to join engineering and do it. Right? That is not the way to take it up. See, no education, even if you join Bachelor of Arts, nobody should assume that it is going to be easy. Mm-hmm. All the educational programs, they will be equally complex and equally composed.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. The thing is, what do you want to become? Try to join that particular course. And one thing is that be honest to your own self, because it is not about proving to the outside world that you are studying, you are doing good, you are doing bad also. You stand in front of the mirror, look at yourself, and then speak to yourself. What are you doing with your own self? What did you learn today? What did you achieve today? Mm-hmm. And second thing is, join those institutions. I insist on this, who are tight on looking at your attendance and your performance.
Yes, sir. That's quite important.
Why? Because you must remember, you must never forget that you are going to invest nearly 4 years, minimum of 4 years in engineering education, which are very important years of your life, number one. Second thing is, these 4 years will decide how good will be the career of nearly 40 years in rest of your life. That is number two. And most importantly, the hard-earned money of your parents, because even if you get the engineering seat through government quota, in spite of that, you will be paying more or less 1 lakh rupees per year towards the college fee. So yes. Why to waste that amount? Because you may or may not be knowing, dear students, you might be finding the money very easily available in the pocket of your dad. Yeah. But he will not be finding the same money very easily in his earning. So it will have taken lots of efforts. It will have taken lots of compromises. It will have taken lots of obligations from your parents to bring the money and giving it to you. So please value your parents' money. Please value your number of years that you are going to study, and try to become educated engineers. Never ever opt a college which will give you free attendance and free internals, or which will pass you freely. Because whatever is available free in this world has never been appreciated.
Exactly.
So be on the side of being appreciated.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So it was great having you with us, sir. So I believe the viewers who will be viewing this interview, they'll be getting the insight of the college like Maharaja Institute of Technology, Mysore College, as well as the thoughts which you have shared in this interview, your views on the education, your take on the education system, and your take on the thoughts on the current education system and all. So yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you again for being here on our platform. And thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sagardeep, for the opportunity given to me to address. Through your channel, I have tried to convey the features with which we are running this institution and the department in particular. Yeah. And I have also tried to convey what are my feels out of about nearly 17 to 18 years of teaching experience. Yes. What is better and what is not better for the students. I have tried to highlight. I hope this will, even if we are able to turn a few of the students' mind towards betterment, that is not short of an achievement for me. Yeah. So thank you, dear students who will be able to weave this and who are going to listen to me. And I wish you all a wonderful career. Please do become very good humans first, very good Indians, very good patriots, and then work towards the harmony, integrity, and unity of this country, and take our India to the frontiers in the field of science and technology, and prosper our country, prosper yourself. Thank you, Sagardeep.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.